to uncover in the next session, which is increasing Rotaract impact through service and finance. Ooh, just by saying it, it sounds really intense. But before we jump right in, let us have a bit of a mind teaser first. And to lead us on that activity, let us all welcome back President Nominee Chun John Ong.
Okay, thank you, RJ. So, hear me out again, district leaders. Good afternoon. So, welcome to Ractimeter. What are your advocacies? What are your legacies? You are all leaders with a primary vision of your service club, which adds up to the bigger picture of our organization. In line with this, we want to know the weight of your support with other programs and projects of our mother organization. So, the poll question for this session is, how can you support the Rotary Foundation as a Rotaract MDIO or district leader? So open your browser and kindly visit menti.com and use the code 136250 to answer the poll. This question requires your individual answers to generate a word cloud. So let us see what it will be look like. We will give you a moment to answer the poll. And while answering the poll, let me add something. One of our RI strategic objectives is to increase our impact. It challenges us to be responsive by considering the following actions to achieve the said objectives, such as eradicate polio and leverage the legacy, improve our ability to achieve and measure impact, and focus our programs and offerings. So these actions will totally guide us in our service projects. So don't forget those objectives. Okay, then let's try to look at the poll results. Let's see what are the mindset of our participants for this upcoming session. So we are versatile as district leaders. So how do you guys support the Rotary Foundation? Let me see. Oh, the average support that our district leaders do is by donating. So donate is an inspiration for every Rotaractor inspiring member to support advocacy and legacy that really help people in need, followed by some actions by our district leaders. Promote fundraising, so almost similar by promoting and fundraising projects. We do serve. So TRF projects, very good. So that's a big heart of our district leaders. I think that's amazing. And I will not prolong the commencement of our next session, but don't forget to absorb learnings from our very good speakers this afternoon. Oh, yes, definitely. Promote, donate, so we can totally do everything that is what is in our screen right now. Yes, we can really raise awareness also. By the way, moreover, I want to turn over your attention to our session this afternoon. So thank you, leaders, district leaders. Back to you, RJ.
Thank you very much, P and Shun, and thank you all for sharing your thoughts on how you can support the Rotary Foundation as a Rotaract MDIO and district leader. And I'm really surprised, quite frankly, most of you want to donate. It seems like our district leaders have very deep pockets. All right, so before we move on, let me remind you again of our house rules. All right, first, everyone must be on mute if they are not speaking to avoid any interruptions. Kindly use your earphones or headphones to minimize sound disturbance. Please turn off your video if you're experiencing slow internet connection. Kindly utilize the react buttons, the thumbs up one, and the applause. And lastly, please address all your questions privately to past President Henry Maravillas on the Zoom chat box. All right. So jumping straight to our next session, I want to introduce you to our next moderator. Actually, this person is very close to me, for we are from the same club. She started as an interactor in 2010 to 2012. She became a Rotaractor of the Rotaract Club of San Francisco del Monte Malaya Achievers in 2012. Then she led the club as its president in the All-Star term in the year 2016 to 2017. After that, she served as the District Rotaract Secretary and now as the incoming District Rotaract Chief of Staff of Rotary International District 3780. Our moderator was elected as the District Rotaract Representative nominee for the Rotary year 2021 to 2022. She's also the chairperson of DRRETS 2020. So without much further ado, let us all welcome DRRN Diana Isabel de Suyo. Can we give her a big hand, everyone?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, DRRN.
Yeah, okay. Yes, okay. Thank you very much, RJ, for the generous introduction. We will now proceed to the fourth of our general sessions. I know we are all excited to further learn about increasing Rotaract impact. Just like the first three general sessions, this segment is divided into two parts. The first part would be the talks of our speakers, and the second part will be our panel discussion. We have two sought after and esteemed session speakers, and I will be introducing them one by one before they talk. Our first speaker will be talking about increasing Rotaract impact through the Rotary Foundation. He proudly calls himself a Rotary baby because he spent more than three-fourths of his life pursuing his journey in Rotary service, starting as early as 1975 when he was still in high school as an interactor. He crossed over the Rotaract movement where he served as charter president of the Rotary Club of Marikina North in 1976. He served as the District Rotaract representative in 1982 at the age of 23 in what used to be District 380, whose territory covers from Apari, Cagayan, all the way to Quezon City. He accepted the call of service and became a Rotarian at the young age of 25. He became the president of his club, Rotary Club of Marikina, during Rotary year 1996 to 1997 at the age of 36 and was adjudged as the most outstanding Rotary Club president of District 3800. He then served as the district governor for the Rotary year 2010 to 2011. Currently, he is the Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator of Rotary International Zone 7A. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome past District Governor Virgilio June Farcon.
Thank you very much to our moderator. Okay, that was a lengthy introduction, and I appreciate so much coming from DRR and Diana. Okay, so okay, first let me greet all my fellow Rotaractors. It's nice to be again with the Pilipinas MDIO. My greetings to our convener, Louis De Real. Truly, I'm amazed with the kind of training that we're having now. Something that, you know, in the past, most of you were not born yet. I would say unimaginable that we'll be having this kind of gathering of leaders all over the world. So, okay, I am only given a few minutes. Okay, I cannot share my screen, so somebody has to allow me to share screen.
Hi, Govjun. You have a remote control.
Okay, I have a remote control. So how do I do that? Just press.
Yes, go. You may control
Okay.
the screen.
It says host disabled attendee screen sharing. Cholo, can you share my presentation? Oh, okay. Again, it's still not working.
Just for a while go.
Okay. Can you press allowing multiple screen sharing?
Go ahead, go.
Okay. Then, okay. Okay, wait. Okay. Thank you, by the way, to Cholo Hermoso for guiding me and helping me go through this Zoom technology. And to be honest with you, I'm still studying and trying to explore. And hopefully, just like you guys, we'll also learn this technology and make use of it to improve the way we do our Rotary business. Okay, increasing the Rotaract impact through the Rotary Foundation. Let me just share what we expect to learn. So learning objectives. So I'm sure this has been mentioned already that right now Rotaract enjoys top priorities and objectives of Rotary International, no less than by a series of RI presidents espousing support for the Rotaract and taking advantage of this current trend of support from Rotary International. Rotaract should now be allowed to increase their impact and expand their reach through the Rotary Foundation. Something that is still not allowed, but I'm sure you will agree with me that this is already something that we can explore and ask Rotaract clubs to participate. Okay, if that is already clear, so let me just go around through of what we have already learned. So officially, we are now recognized as a membership type. Again, thanks to the support of the Council on Legislation, this was passed on a very close vote. Then Rotaract clubs will be able to establish a new club without a sponsor. Another innovation, something that is not existing before. Rotaract clubs will be able to choose other Rotaract clubs as their sponsors. This is new, effective July 1, 2020. The upper age limits first has been removed. Now the RI board in its meeting last January 2020 agreed that a Rotaract club is not required but can establish upper age limits. So you're now, all of us are now being given this authority to establish the upper age limits, provided that you comply with certain procedures in your bylaws, obtain the concurrence of your members and the sponsor club. And of course, all of these will lead to amendments of our standard Rotaract Club Constitution and recommended Rotaract bylaws. And this is very important. Do you know that right now Rotary districts are encouraged to include Rotaractors in every district Rotaract committee? Meaning the elevate Rotaract to a membership type led to this. So Rotaract is now part of Rotary. Okay, other key decisions. So beginning July 1, 2022, so that's 2 years from now, the $50 one-time chartering fee for new Rotaract clubs will be eliminated. I'm just wondering why they have to defer it for 2 years. I guess the second is a prelude, because beginning July 1, 2022, pursuant to that RI board decision, Rotaractors will pay annual per capita dues by July 1, 2022. It's $5 annual fee for university school-based clubs and $8 for community-based clubs. So we're talking of Rotaractors. Unlike before, it's a one-time chartering fee. This is now what will happen after or starting July 1, 2022. And look at this, another key decision made. The RI president, the RI board of directors, and the Rotary Foundation board of trustees should consider how Rotaractors might advise them on Rotaract matters. So we have not just been elevated to a membership type, we have been included in the decision-making process, so much so that we're now being consulted and we're being asked to advise them on Rotaract matters. Okay. So what do we do next for the next 2 years? So this probably is the action plan. You can call it action plan. On July 1, Rotaract Club is elevated to membership type in Rotary International. We're not saying that Rotaract is equal to Rotary, but before it used to be a program, a youth program, part of the new generation program, and then it became youth service program. Now we have gone past that. It has now been elevated to a membership type in Rotary International. We still have to see how this will really work, but this is effective already July 1, okay? 2 years from now, Rotaractors will also pay RI dues. I'm sure this will be something new. We have not done this before. So as I've said, that will happen July 1, 2022, okay? So how do we increase our impact? So this is going to be our priority one. So since we are now part of, let's say, what you call a membership type, and somehow we're part of Rotary International. So just like Rotary, we should now be allowed to become a part of the Rotary Foundation. And just like Rotarians, we should be allowed to donate, I mean personal donation, and be recognized with that. Participate in the humanitarian grants programs. And just like Rotarians, through the Rotary Foundation, we should also be allowed to increase our impact by doing more good in this world. So is it possible for Rotary clubs to be given such privilege? Yes. In fact, this is a screenshot of what is possible as a transition from the Rotary program to membership type. As soon as they have finalized the rules, look at what's going to happen. The trustees of the Rotary Foundation also plan to discuss whether Rotary clubs should be eligible to apply for foundation grants. Okay, so not only that, Rotary clubs will also gain more support by having access to administrative tools on My Rotary and the option to subscribe to the digital edition of the Rotarian magazine. So I guess earlier I saw our editor-in-chief of the Philippine Rotary magazine, and I'm sure this is also one of the opportunities that we can offer to the Rotaractors in the Philippines to be able to subscribe to the digital edition of the Philippine Rotary magazine. So, and this is also a screenshot on a question and answer. So will Rotaractors avail of foundation funds for their projects? So right now, the reality is this. Only Rotary clubs may apply for global and district grants. But for district grants, a Rotary club can be given district grant through a Rotary club. So your sponsoring Rotary club can apply for a district grant in behalf of a Rotary club, okay? Now, the foundation trustees determine who is eligible for global grants and would review any proposal right now to allow Rotary clubs access to foundation funds. So this is still not available, but I'm sure as we progress, as we go through that July 1, 2022, this is something that can be made available. So the trustees encourage Rotary clubs to work with Rotary clubs on global grant projects. Right now, what we can do is that because you're not yet familiar with the system, you should assimilate and make yourselves be familiar on how the system works. Because later on, if you'll be allowed access to this grants, humanitarian grants program, then it follows that you too should comply with the rules on global grants. And it's not that complicated, but it's also not that simple. So we have to follow principles on accountability, principles of transparency, and at all times, we should avoid conflict of interest. So as I have said, Rotary clubs can receive funding from district grants right now through a Rotary club, not as a Rotary club. But always, this has been ongoing since so many years. Rotaractors can apply for scholarship and Rotary Peace Fellowships through the foundation, meaning Rotaractors are not disqualified to apply for scholarship and peace fellowship. Okay, so I like this because I got this from the RI website, and it's called Rotaract Rising. The evolution of Rotaract is redefining its place within Rotary. I'm sure if you have access to Rotary.org, this is the first, this is what you can see when you open the website, okay? So Right now, Rotaractors, I can say that it's now time to prove that we can have so much impact, and we don't really have to wait for 2 years. Okay, we should start now. So to expand our reach, and this is going to be our priority too, we have to improve the quality of the service projects, inspire more members to take action, and work on new models on how to maximize the membership type given to Rotaract. I'm sure you're familiar on how we do things in Rotaract. I mean, it's just like the same with Rotary, because you're being guided by the Rotarians. But you know, if you want to expand your reach, remember you have been elevated, and you have to prove that you also have this capacity to reach out to those areas where the Rotarians cannot reach. PDG Sani Coloma earlier mentioned that because of your advantage in terms of age, you're more in a position to penetrate those areas where Rotarians who have, let's say, senior in their senior years could not anymore penetrate or reach out. So that's one area that we should also be focusing. And you should inspire members, of course. Engagement is the key, really. And then what will be the new model now under this new membership type given to us? Okay, so I'm not entertaining any doubts, because Rotaractors, since the time that it was started in 1968, they're energetic, passionate, and driven, community-minded professionals. And I hope it will not end in Rotaract, because just like me, I really cross over from Interact to Rotaract and then later on to Rotary. So just like me, will have this passion also to pursue your quest or your journey for service, not just in Rotaract, but also to Rotary. Okay, so think beyond traditional partnerships. I'm sure you're already thinking of how this will happen given the new membership type, or when we were elevated to membership type in Rotary International. Because just like Rotary clubs, Rotaract clubs are now allowed to do partnerships or networking with other clubs to expand your reach. So this is just a proposal, but I'm sure you have also other ideas in mind. So we have to intensify the information campaign to disseminate the recent RI policy decisions on Rotaract membership. I mean, the membership type of Rotaract. Strategic planning. I do suggest all Rotaract districts to undergo this strategic planning and involve all Rotaract clubs, okay, on the impact of policy changes and what will be your action plan at your district level and at the club level. And number 3, this is also important. You lobby with the district leadership, maintain that closeness with the district leadership of Rotary, closeness with the RI board and the Rotary Foundation Board of Trustees to open up the Rotary Foundation to Rotaract clubs. Is this possible? Why not? Okay. I can only base it on the recent developments, and the next RI president is so much in love with Rotaract. And I'm referring to RI President-elect Holger Kanak. Why do I say that he's in love with Rotaract? Oh, look at his backdrop. It's not really Rotary, it's Rotaract. So you can have a hint of how much he feels for Rotaract. Okay? And he has no choice, because, you know, the 2 presidents before him really gave all out support to Rotaract. And he is just continuing everything. And I think that is the right move, because let me just quote him. When I work with Rotaract, I'm always impressed with their ability to multitask, to devote themselves to challenging work, and to just get things done. So he's really the #1 fan of Rotaract. Okay. And he's saying to us, to me, we are all members now of Rotary International, and we should work together and use our strength and abilities to serve our organization. I guess that will be all for my presentation. And okay.
Thank you very much, PDG June. That was a very informative talk covering the recent policy changes and how these will affect Rotaractors, as well as the Rotary Action Plan priorities and what we in Rotaract could do in relation to them. Given the new legislations passed and the commencing of the new Rotary year, this topic is timely and relevant. So if you have any questions, feel free to send them to Past President Henry Maravillas, and we would love to hear them and we'll answer them later. Keep the questions coming. Moving on to our next speaker, he became a member of Sisley Rotary Club in 2012, then served the club as the secretary, vice president, and then later on became the president in the Rotary year 2016-2017. After serving the club, he joined the district team as the district Rotaract representative assistant for club administration and group clubs. Now, he serves his district as the district Rotaract representative. To talk about service and finance roles of the district Rotaract representatives, ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome DRR Burak Kuchuk.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Diana, for this lovely introduction to me. It's very great honor to be here with you. And I want to thank you, Pilipinas Rotaract MDIO Organization Committee, for the great organization and the invitation. It's very exciting moment for me, especially during the COVID pandemic situation. I think those are the days we feel the power and connection of Rotary all around the world. I think many roles during my Rotaract journey, and every moment of each role brought me the courage of change lives locally and around the world. And I'm also briefly introduce myself professionally. I'm a mechanical engineer. Currently, I'm working in a technological startup company as a director of business development. And now I will talk about the importance of the service and finance roles of the DRR. Can I share my screen? Yes.
Go ahead, DRR.
Thank you. Firstly, I want to share the verse which is my inspiration in each project. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. As a DRR, we all have one Rotary to make our dreams true, and to get there, planning and timing are crucial. Only a great team can make you go there. Because of that, you have to choose the right roles to the right people. This is the district team I recommended to you. It is the first and the most important thing to start your journey. These are the board and the roles that can support you. You can export or divide the roles according to your need. I recommend you also establish the district planning team, includes secretaries, 3 secretaries, treasurer, Rotaract Education Center, and other organizations. In this structure, there are 3 roles for secretaries. Committee secretary is the one who is responsible from the projects together with 9 assistant DRR. You can see the name of these roles. There are different focus of areas that gets Rotaractor together to contribute to the world and to learn more as today's leaders. Let me explain how they work together. For example, let's say we plan a service project, so the leader will be the assistant DRR for service projects committee. Or they want to each reach more people worldwide, they can reach district public relations committee, or they want to reach more people worldwide, they can reach district publications committee or international service committee. So it is important to work all together to create a bigger impact. If you can work this together, working together, you can reach more people, include your project. But the very important point is the delegation. You can't control everything and everybody. You already have a big responsibility around the district. So you have to learn to share some of your responsibilities with your district team. And you have to give them a space to work freely. You have to let them mistakes, but the controlled one. This is the very important. That provides them confidence, and this helps you reduce your workloads. Each assistant DRR has a team. of Rotaract members from all clubs. I recommend you, every committee meets monthly with their committee members. If you do that, they each month create ideas and work together, and they know together very well. They updated themselves in monthly basis. Every meeting requires different needs to handle, such as finding a sponsorship, deciding revenue, targeted people, etc. As long as we stick together, we get stronger. It is the, I think, very best way to do that. So, what is the best way to carry out a project? First, collaboration with NGOs, non-governmental organizations, which are expert on our service projects. Or second, if applicable, collaboration with other Rotaract clubs in different countries and districts. It's very important. Three of these awareness meetings to educate ourselves, first with experts or with NGOs. Always we think we know everything, but we don't know everything. So if we don't educate ourselves first, we cannot express each other to other people. For fieldwork, to educate our community is very important of that, because fieldwork, you have to go some shopping mall or areas and talk to people in person, physically. And it can give you courage to reach another people, another children, or etc. On the other hand, you can do social media campaigns depending on the targeted community who are related to our service project. It's very good, I think, in my experience. Social media campaigns, feedbacks are very good for this service projects. And other steps regarding projects, such as providing Rotaract advantages, meetings or materials with other organizations or sponsorships. Let me share a good project design example for our breast cancer project. Has been done this year with many steps. And I write some of examples in here. Firstly, the Breast Health Society helped participants to create knowledge about the current cancer data and importance of self-examination and early diagnosis. Before we talked to Breast Health Society, we didn't know the self-examination or importance of early diagnosis. After that, we know these importance and transmitted to other peoples very well. Nowadays, breast cancer is the most common cancer type in women. The main idea is you should pick the right NGO according to your project. Then it's important to find stakeholders to support your project, like Roche Pharmaceuticals. They shared their own experiences to create marvelous informative images for social media campaign. In this way, when you started to inform other people, it prevents you from giving wrong informations. Fieldworks helps you reach people who doesn't meet Rotary in your project. Finding people from another district and country help you share your knowledge to people you never met and sympathize different cultures. This far, if you did the steps, your project already be a district-wide and had global impact. Here is the some photos for breast cancer awareness project. I want to share with you some numbers and detail. For the first, on the left side, there's a seminar we did before. Seminar is done with the Breast Health Society to Rotaractors with 8 hosting clubs and 60 participants. You can see that there's 8 hosting clubs included that. Already you did it a district-wide project, and 60 participants, you can have 60 participants to educate another people about breast cancer. Also, VR glasses for mammography experience and breast model to learn self-examination. Because of that, when you teach the people self-examination in their own body, they can confidently explain to other people to do that. How can they do that? And this is very important, you know, for early diagnosis. And you already show the people what is your goal. And the right pictures in field work, field work is done in Sapphire Mall with 24 Rotaractors and with NGOs. Because of that, almost 300 people were educated with these brochures, breast model, and VR glasses. 500 brochures, 10 hand banners, 700 pink ribbons, and 250 breast sketches distributed in this field work. And this side, people used working together as a Rotaractors, and the community started to awareness about this project. And also 3 seminars were done with memorial hospitals. You can see the stakeholders and other stakeholders, memorial hospitals, and reach more than 350 people with the seminars. 7 physician institutes educated community about importance of early detection in breast cancer and self-examination again. You can see if the constantly you educated community about your goal, about breast cancer and self-examination, you have to did it separate times. And also I mentioned about the Rotaract advantages. That means discount agreement was made with the Memorial Hospital for 4 breast cancer control programs for Rotarians, Rotaractors, and their families. You can also share this with beneficiaries, all your district or country, about you have another hospital or something else. We had published an awareness video with professional women's national team volleyball players on traditional media and social media and the newspapers. And during October 25, Instagram stories were posted with questions about breast cancer and their answers, important facts and general information to create awareness. You can also find this video and post on the District 2420's Instagram page. And finally, thanks to Rotary International and these steps I told you briefly, this project was awarded Rotaract's Outstanding Project, and this is get me here in front of you. Wish you all luck for upcoming year, because really you need it. Thank you for listening me and gave me this opportunity. Hope to meet you each in person at somewhere. Have a nice weekend. Yours in Rotaract. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DRR Kuchuk. One line was mentioned: if you want to go first, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. As current and incoming leaders, this is something to ponder on. DRR Kuchuk shared to us tips and examples of project design, and I would just like to emphasize on 2 of those: educating ourselves, then educating our community. I guess those 2 components are important in every service project. All right. So again, guys, feel free to put your questions in our chat box so that we can answer them later. Moving on, we are now at the second part of our session. Here we will have some discussion between our speakers and our invited panelists. But before that, let me just introduce our panelists. Our first panelist grew up internationally in Germany, England, and Singapore, meanwhile having resettled to Germany and actively contributing to the international community as a member of RAC from Frankfurt Main International. She is passionately engaged within Rotaract, most recently as a district Rotaract representative for District 1820 in Germany. In July, she looks forward to taking over the position of the chair of the MDIO Rotaract Germany, which encompasses 15 districts and 8 resorts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first panelist, PDRR Nadia von Osterreich. PDRR.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
Hello. Let me just proceed. Yes, PDRR.
Sorry?
All right. Yes, let me just proceed to introducing our second panelist. He serves as the 26th District Governor of the Rotary International District 3780 for RY 2012-2013 under the RI theme Peace Through Service. He is a past president of the Rotary Club of San Francisco del Monte, among the oldest and admired clubs in the district. This year, he serves as Assistant Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator, Zone 10A Philippines, and as the district governor representative to the Philippine Rotary Magazine Foundation Incorporated. He was a founding member of the Rotary Leadership Institute and at present serving as the dean of the Rotary Academy. A practicing lawyer for the past 30 years, he co-founded his own law firm in 1995, now known as Policarpio and Accorda Law Office, a dynamic professional and civic leader with a passion for service combined with 27 years of experience and service in Rotary. Ladies and gentlemen, past District Governor Rufino Penny L. Policarpo III. Hello, Gov.
Hi. Hello, Diane. Thank you very
Hello,
much
Gov.
for your invitation. I'm very happy and proud to be here with you.
All right,
All
thank you,
right.
Gov.
Thank you for your introduction.
We have a very good team of panelists for this session. So let me just ask our panelists to share very briefly what they think about the topics that were discussed by our two speakers. Can we
Okay.
begin with, yeah,
With
Gov Penny?
Nadia.
PDRR Nadia? Yes.
I will give way to Nadia. Nadia, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I really love that there were two messages. One, which was, let's deliver as Rotaract clubs for social service. And the second message really being, you also need to have a plan. And if there's something I would like to give you on your path as well, is really to look into how are you going to show up in your leadership to get all the Rotaract clubs in your district excited to accomplish this mission of creating, district-wide service projects. And in my experience, it has a lot to do with, how you show up, but also how do you onboard the presidents and members of the clubs in your district for them to also feel accountable. I've seen it happen all too much that a DRR or a DRR and their team feel like it is all in their responsibility and get exhausted over the year. While my learning has really been at the beginning of the year to really make the clubs feel as responsible as well. And to, how should I say it? Also get them involved in the creative process of whatever it is you're trying to build in the district that year. For example, I don't know how it's structured for you. We have district conferences we organize a couple times per year. Some districts do it twice a year, some 3 times a year in Germany. And of course, at the beginning of the year, we have the board-elect training seminar. Oftentimes, the board-elect training seminar at the beginning of the year is a great chance to set up service projects and encourage the district, all clubs and district, to do something together. And in our district, we've also used interactive tools like Mentimeter that's used before to get a feeling for what are people interested in. Because it's when you get people involved in that process in the beginning, it makes them feel more like people support what they create. And it's a great way to follow up in that engagement. So I don't want to speak too much because I want to give enough time for everyone else to speak. So I'll hand on the microphone.
Thank you, PDR Nadia. What about PDG Penny?
Yeah, thank you very much, Diane. And firstly, I'd like to just acknowledge everyone, our 56 participants, all the DREs and all the DRNs, including you, Diane. I'd like to say thank you to our very own Louis Del Real. I'm very proud to say that Louis and Diane come from the Rotary Club of San Francisco del Monte, Rotaract Club Malaya Achiever. And they're very proud of what they have accomplished so far. And I'm sure they're going to be destined for bigger and better roles. I also like to acknowledge my boss, Past Governor June Parcon. It is a bit awkward because, as you know, Governor June, PDG June, is our Rotary Regional Rotary Foundation coordinator. He is the top leader of our RRFC team, our TRF team, and I am just his assistant. So there's a little bit of an awkwardness in this, no? But I do share the great optimism of our RRFC June. No? because really Rotaract is viewed as the great future of Rotary, and we look to the Rotaractors as our partners in service, and they will be probably the next generation of Rotarians, hopefully. So I shared I'd like to thank RFC June for the great information that he has shared, and I'd like to just react by saying that yes, the big challenge of Rotaract or Rotaractors at this time, at this point in time, under our new situation, is really how to be able to support, not only to avail but to support generously the TRF and become the advocates of TRF just like us. No, my hope is that you will be able to learn and appreciate the beauty of this foundation that we have. I keep telling our fellow Rotarians in this time of COVID that TRF remains as our best resource for Rotary. Uh, uh, TRF or the Rotary Foundation is where we look to for our funds to support the many service projects that are there waiting to be done. And it is up for us really to keep supporting, because the more we support, the more we get something from the road. That is the beauty of the Rotary Foundation. The more you give, literally, the more you receive. And if you can ask RFC June, for every dollar that you give to the foundation, at least 6 times, $6 comes back by way of grants. That's the very nice thing about our foundation. I'd also like to thank our DRR Burak from Turkey, RI District 2420. And thank you for very, very good advice and the timely messages that you have communicated to us, especially the idea of teamwork. To our DRRs and DRREs and DRNs, you can really, I agree with DRR Burak that this is really the time of your life where you are really training yourself. This is like, you can look at this as your training ground for future and better and bigger roles, leadership roles in this organization of ours. So be enthusiastic and make the most of this time, because you may never pass this way again. So in closing, let me just say that yes, the Rotaractors, and we are looking at the DRREs and the DRNs to really be the leaders of our youth involvement in Rotary, because we are looking at Rotaract as the great force multiplier, as we say, because you in Rotaract, you are really you know, the, our the members who are going to increase our involvement. You will expand our reach and increase our impact, because you can go to places where we may not be able to. So be the force multiplier for doing good in the world, as we say in Rotary. Thank you very much, and yes, let's have a discussion.
All right. Thank you so much, PDG Penny. I would just like also to share that when you get people involved in the process, just like PDR Nadia has said, they are really more likely to give their full support. There is so much opportunity and room for improvement that we can work on as the incoming or even the current district leaders, as well as for the Pilipinas Rotaract MDIO. So now we can proceed to the question and answer portion. Again, we are welcoming questions from our participants. So just send a message to past President Henry Maravillas. For now, we will begin with a question. How can we increase the quality, impact, and sustainability of projects? Our speakers and our panelists can give their insights for this question. Anyone can lead answering?
Yes. Yes. Yes, I'd like to say this actually on behalf of our RRFC. I missed this just a while back, and I'd like to see the day, and we are asking our DRREs to help us in Rotary and in the Rotary Foundation to uh, to motivate, all the Rotaractors, while you are not yet in any way obligated to pay your RI dues, you can start supporting the foundation, because as we always say, the foundation is ours. It is every Rotarian's and every Rotaractor's foundation. And we would like to see very soon, our Rotaractors participating in what we call the E-Ray. Every year, every Rotarian program, where each one of us in Rotary will give at least $25 to the foundation. That's one of the things that we want to really push, or at least motivate everybody. And we like to ask the help of everyone. Because if you give something to the foundation, you will have that commitment. You will have that feeling of belongingness, and you will see and be amazed, at the extent of the good that we are doing through the foundation. So there, one of the ways you can increase is by giving to the foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, PDG Penny. What about our speakers?
Okay.
DRR Kuchuk?
You.
Yes, go ahead, please.
I strongly recommend that how many people you can involve for this project, you can increase the impact. How many people you can involve this project, you also get many people's thinking. You don't have to do that, but a little bit from another people don't hurt you. And maybe some of them are very useful ideas, and you can apply for your project. And this way you can increase the quality also. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Please, sorry. Yeah, I was muted. Please go ahead, PDG June.
Okay. As I have mentioned, by the way, let me also acknowledge our Assistant Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator from your district, my good friend, PDG Penny Policarpio. We're working together in the Rotary Foundation, serving Zone 10A. That will be the start of the new grouping. So beginning July 1, 2020, the Philippines will be part of Zone 10A. It's exclusive for the Philippines. So with your question, even without the Rotary Foundation, as this is now the challenge to all of the Rotaract clubs, because of this elevation and because of this promotion, your Rotaract club it's no longer a program. It has been given a status, a specific status afforded only or given only to Rotary clubs. So we have to level up. So when we say increase our impact, it's really trying to have this goal of really helping out and making Rotaract Club presence be felt in our community. So when we say increasing our impact in terms of service project, it can only mean that this is the magnitude should be measured in terms of what kind of project have we done that our community can attribute to your Rotary Club as the author, or your signature on that project is on that, and the community will acknowledge it. Meaning, just like Rotary, that's what we do. We no longer go for quantity. We go for quality. It doesn't really matter if the project is only one per year. What matters most is how much impact have you done to merit such kind of appreciation from the community that you serve. Of course, it's not an easy process. It's not, let me say that, it's not automatic that just because you have been elevated to a membership type of Rotary International, Rotaract clubs will automatically gain access to funds. So that's what we have to prove now. With this decision of the Rotary International Council on Legislation and approved by the Rotary International Board, we have to prove to them that we merit such kind of recognition. Increasing our impact, expanding our reach, all of this will test us and prepare us for the bigger role. And I agree with Penny. You know, when we talk about the Rotary Foundation, membership is so easy. All you have to do is just contribute, and the amount is not material. The moment you contribute, you become a subscriber and supporter, and your name is listed in the website. Then, just like us, this foundation belongs to you also. But that is not yet allowed, and soon we hope it will be. It will also be that privilege will be given to the Rotaract Club to be part of this biggest and largest privately funded foundation that deals on education and other humanitarian grants like disease prevention on the 6 areas of focus. So I think that is the roadmap that we have to pursue right now. Let's come up with plans, as mentioned by our panelists and my co-resource. Come up with plans on how to really increase the impact and expand our reach.
Thank you for those insights, PDG June. And
Dear Diana, can I
yeah.
add something?
Oh, go ahead, DR.
I just remind that there is a part of Rotary.org website called Rotary Showcase. You can write your project details and aim and needs from there, and people in another district or country can see that, and maybe they can give you a hand to help you. I just want to tell you that. Thank you.
Thank you, DRR Kuchup, for those added insights. Can we now have PDRR Nadia?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add a quick point about sustainability, right? Because you asked about impact and sustainability. You have a great chance as DRRs to sort of set the tone for how projects are planned and to educate clubs about a more sustainable way to implement projects. So for an example, within our MDIO, we've created like a one-pager. It's unfortunately in German. If it were in English, I would have been like, I'll send it to you. That, you know, gives hints to how can you plan projects. I mean, okay, you know, let's see how it will be with COVID-19 and all, but this is mostly focused, of course, the one pager on in-person projects in a way that is more sustainable with resources. And I would really like to invite you to think about that too in your project planning, and as well when you speak with the clubs, because I think this is, you know, impact is important, but also how are we creating that impact, and what, you know, how much waste are we creating? Is there a way to optimize the use of resources? And yeah, that's one thing I would like to give you along for this year as well to think about.
Thank you, PDR Nadia. So our participants have heard different ways of increasing the quality, impact, and sustainability of projects with also under the different perspectives. All right. So now we will be, just to share my insights as well. In order for us to increase the quality, impact, and sustainability of projects, I think a careful community needs assessment, evaluation of the team's capabilities, and project monitoring are all important, because these are crucial steps in order for us to achieve the impact that we want to achieve for our communities. And so we proceed to our second question. This is addressed to PDG June Farcon. We now all know that Rotaract can now be chartered without any sponsoring Rotary Club. What if I am in a place or area without an existing Rotary or Rotaract Club? How can I charter my own Rotaract Club, and who will I contact?
Okay, so going back to the recent policy decisions on that, it's a new development. I'm sure, depending on the area that you are into, I'm just surprised if there is no Rotary Club, but I'm sure if you have heard of any Rotary Club, that Rotary Club can be made a co-sponsor. I'm not sure how a group of individuals can form a Rotary club on their own without really having to approach another Rotary club or a Rotary club. But since this has been already or going to be made effective July 1, then let's just wait for the rules. I'm not really, I cannot really give exact answer on how it can be done. But right now, it's still the traditional way. The best way is to go through a Rotary club and through a Rotaract club. And perhaps after July 1, we can see how a group of individuals can form their own Rotaract club without any sponsor. But, okay, by the way, I forgot to mention that Rotaract has also, even last year, and I think the year before that, Rotaract clubs is also being asked to promote the end polio, which is the #1 priority of Rotary International and also the Rotary Foundation. So Rotaract clubs are being recognized if any 5 of you, members of the Rotaract club, can contribute $10 each to constitute $50 per Rotaract club. It's a recognition being given to Rotaract clubs on end polio. So it's a certificate recognizing the efforts made by Rotaract clubs towards this eradication of polio. So I think this is a good step. If we really want to, be a part of the Rotary Foundation and have access, then perhaps this #1 flagship project should be supported by all Rotaract clubs.
Thank you, PDG June. And yes, the Rotaract clubs are actually being encouraged, especially this year, to support the Rotary Foundation. I've heard of several Rotaract clubs have given and donated for the End Polio campaign of the Rotary International.
And all of these
yes.
donations will be duly acknowledged and recognized.
Yes, go. So to our district leaders who are all in these DRETS, please encourage your district and the Rotary clubs under you to support the said End Polio campaign and the Rotary Foundation itself. All right. We have a question from IPDRR MJ. I have been reading articles in Rotary.org how different districts and clubs are responding separately and independently to COVID-19. My question would be, what is Rotary Foundation's primary response to this global pandemic?
Okay, I guess I'm going to be the one to answer that. I always say if it's an easy question, I'm going to answer it. If it's a hard question, I'm going to give it to PDG Penny Policarpio. But since the question is very easy, I will volunteer to answer that. Anyway, everybody, this COVID pandemic took everybody really by surprise, in shock, and placed the world economies, worldwide economies have been put to a halt. So much unemployment, so much grief, debt, and so much problems brought this COVID pandemic, not just in our country, but worldwide. Rotary International, of course, made a very quick response through its humanitarian organization, the Rotary Foundation. In the Philippines alone, 10 districts applied for a district response grant. It's a one-time grant of $25,000 per district, and all of the 10 districts were approved to receive this $25,000 grant. It's called Response Grant for the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition to this district response grant of $25,000 per district, the Rotary Foundation also allowed all districts, if you still have money and you have not spent the money coming from the Rotary Foundation, you are now allowed, all Rotary clubs through the districts are now allowed to spend them in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, to be able to realign. So if initially you ask for a project that is non-COVID and you still have the money, all you have to do is just write a letter asking permission that we are now realigning all of these funds to respond to this COVID-19 pandemic, projects that will respond to it. And, and this is the beauty of the Rotary Foundation, in just 3 months, Rotary Foundation was able to allocate $5 million worth of global grants projects. And the Philippines is one of those which really took advantage. And we can see reports coming from the districts. Before, when you apply for a global grant, it normally takes 6 months before this can be approved. There are so many things that you have to do. Like Diana, you mentioned about needs assessment. You go to the communities, and there must be sustainability. The impact must be measurable. All of these are being evaluated. But because of this COVID-19 pandemic and the response of Rotary Foundation, we have seen global grants being approved in a record of 24 hours. We have seen global grants being approved in a record of 3 days, less than a week, less than a month. So meaning Rotary Foundation, through its board of trustees, understand fully the priority that should be given to this COVID-19 pandemic. And they have given instructions to all regional grant officers to really expedite and make sure that all of these funds can be translated into projects, and these projects can address COVID-19 pandemic needs, especially if it involves equipping our medical frontliners. It's for the protection of medical frontliners. It's for livelihood, and I mean addressing the poverty issue on giving food for those who are hungry. All of these can properly qualify for global grant under the new guidelines set by Rotary Foundation. So the exact amount really is enormous. I mean, it's a surge, ang tawag surge. So there was a jump of the number of global grant applications, and the increase was equivalent to about 33% in just a short period of 2 months.
All right, thank you so much, Gov. You have mentioned about the many different ways how Rotary and Rotaract responded to the COVID-19 pandemic. And it just goes to show how the organization remains to be relevant as we are facing the current challenge we have in the whole world.
Very true.
Yes. And
I call the Rotarians and the Rotaractors the new heroes. I mean,
yes.
they're the new heroes because despite the threat, they set it aside and help our medical frontliners to really combat this COVID pandemic.
Yes.
Not all of us can do that, by the way. Not all of us, because you know, the Rotarians are already, most of them are in the senior years, and we are not allowed to go out, including me. So I salute all those who have participated in this response against COVID-19 pandemic. We consider you as the real day modern heroes.
Yes. Well, we would like to thank all our modern heroes, of course. Can we hear from the other speakers or panelists? All right. So I guess we will now proceed to the next question. This is addressed to DRR Kuchuk. How can we encourage the Rotary clubs to spearhead a project and submit it to the Rotary International Rotary Outstanding Project Award?
Sorry, can I take it late? Can I take it again?
Oh, okay. How can we encourage the Rotary clubs to spearhead a project and submit it to the Rotary International Rotaract Outstanding Project Awards?
Okay. That's thank you. Actually, everybody has their unique way to do that. But how can I do that? If I have to mention about that, everybody want to get awarded for their doings. You share your time. The very precious time is your very precious thing in your life. you share it for that, for the people, and you have to make this project see another people to inspire them. If you submit your project to Rotaract Outstanding Award, and if you aim to get that, like me, now the Philippine Rotaract can see my project for a breast cancer project, and the data and what I did before that. It's a great experience to share with another people, and you can encourage them like that. You can encourage them like talking to share another people, share the district, share the country, give credit people to do that. You can also and share time together with them, to time together talking. This is advantages from contribute to you or the others, and you can convince them to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, DRR Kuchuk. And I would also like to congratulate you for winning the 2020 Rotaract Outstanding Project Awards. I can now feel and see how you did it. I just feel the heart that you poured into that project. All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you so much.
Mhm. And we also have our question addressed to PDRR Nadia. Does your MDIO do nationwide service projects?
Yes, we do. So we actually have like a nationwide service project each year, and the way our MDIO is set up. So we have 15 districts in Germany, and we have 8 resorts. It's sort of like you can see it like 8 little committees, you know, one's for IT, one is for PR, one is for social service. And they all are voted by the clubs in Germany. So they actually have to pitch at our German-wide meeting, Germany conference. It happens once a year. And each year there's a topic. So 1920, it was, well, currently still is for this month, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. Last year it was Be Alive. It was about, you know, making bee hotels, educating about, you know, how honey is created, you know, what should be considered, because bees are super important to our environmental system. And it actually became a Peoples of Action campaign. So this is something we do in Germany that has helped engage the clubs to have, you know, a topic everyone is getting educated about, and also doing service projects around. And of course, you know, DRRs are the central point of contact to transmit that information, but the resort team also creates, you know, material online to download, you know, pushes the project through social media, offers calls on the topic. So you have one dedicated team that's really pushing that topic. In the upcoming year, it's going to be 1 million trees, about planting trees to help fight climate change. So this is also a great way to keep the clubs that have been active for many years sort of engaged with a new topic to learn about. So that's an example I can share from Germany. And are there any questions to that?
Thank you for sharing those projects and strategies that you have in your nation, PDRR Nadia. I guess our MDIO leaders or even the district leaders can also take those into consideration as they plan their projects for their respective terms. So I'm afraid that would be the last question, as our time has already been consumed. So if we have any last messages from our panelists and speakers. All right, so I guess that would be it. Thank you so much, PDG June, PDG Penny, PDRR Nadia. And
Diana.
Yes, PDG June. Start.
Okay, let me just take advantage of this opportunity. Anyway, I'm also your fellow Rotaractor. And, you know, our district will also have a breakout session on in our virtual discon. And one of the topic is Rotaract, the future of Philippine Rotary. So I'm inviting everyone, all our Rotaractors, We're allowed to have so much because we have done this through a Zoom webinar. And I'm sure you will receive this invitation from your fellow Rotaractors from District 3800. Our DRR now is Jan Marvin Leonor. And I would like to greet our DRR elect. Congratulations on your training. Ali Francisco from the Rotaract Club of Marikina West. And DRRN nominee, Julie from the Rotaract Club of Venezuela. Good luck to you guys, and enjoy the rest of the training.
Right. Thank you, Gov June. And once again, I would like to thank our panelists and speakers for sharing their insights and knowledge on our topic. And thank you very much. This is your moderator, DRRN Diana Isabel de Suyo. And now I'm handing back the control to our host. Back to you, RJ.
Thank you very much, DRR and Diana. Wow, that was an amazing session. I just got an insight on what really is the impact Rotaract has in the end polio campaign, and especially with the current situation with the COVID-19, and also how we can encourage our Rotaract clubs to create their own service projects that can create an impact to their respective communities as well. So that was a very, very insightful session. All right, moving on.